as an adult. I went to college. I dropped out in 3 semesters because I just wanted to get out of my mama's house. Yeah.
Why?
I didn't know why I was in college. So, you know, the United States, they pretty much push that on you.
And it's like a formality you need to do.
Yeah, and most people in the United States that go to college, there's people with bachelor's and master's degrees that still delivering pizza. You know, because it's not guaranteed like it used to be.
Succeed.
I got my own apartment and I moved in. COVID happened. COVID was actually the best thing that happened to my business because I was cutting out of my apartment already. Okay. So they couldn't say, oh, this is a barbershop, you need to shut it down. The 3rd month of COVID, I started making like $10,000, $11,000 a month cutting hair.
Wow.
So yeah, and I did that for 2.5 years out of my apartment.
So you were making 6 figures cutting hair?
Yeah, about $120,000. So yeah.
Every year?
A lot of people,
cutting hair?
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe it, but a lot of people aren't hip to the fact that the internet has changed marketing, and now you can access rich people or people that have the means to spend that money on haircuts a lot easier because everybody's on Instagram, everybody's on Facebook, everybody's on Google, so you can set your price now as a barber for whatever you want, and there's somebody that'll pay for it more than what people would. I don't know if y'all have dating coaches in Ghana.
No.
Okay, so we have there's millionaire dating coaches on YouTube.
Just and I know helping her to get girls.
When to text her back. What do you mean when I text her back?
Wait a minute. Seriously.
When do I text her back?
Hello guys, so welcome back again to another amazing episode, and this is the Diaspora Transition episode. We interview diasporan, who are relocating to the continent of Africa, traveling within Africa, or even living here. We ask them why you decided to leave the promised land, being the US or UK or other, developed nation. We just want to know their experience, coming from a different society, a developed nation to Africa, where it's so-called third, world. So we do have someone, special, okay? This person is very special. He's an African American. He's been traveling the world. He's been to Asia, been to a few other African countries, and they're exploring. He's really exploring all different angles. His YouTube channel is there right now. You can check it out and know what exactly I mean by exploring. And he's here in Ghana. He's here for 10 days, and I have the opportunity to speak with him. Actually, his fans reached out to me like, listen, he's in town and you might want to speak with this guy. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So he's here with me today, and he goes by the name Auston Holleman. So without further ado, Auston, welcome on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Akwaba. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can use my context clues.
Yeah.
But I haven't learned that part yet.
Yeah. When someone say Akwaba, you say Medase.
Medase,
which is thank you. Akwaba means you're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I've been is it bench watching your videos?
Yeah, bench watching.
Yeah. And I saw something very interesting. Your opinion you had about Ghana is like Ghanaian men are approaching you more than the women are.
Yes. Yes.
Now, before we get into that, I want you to introduce yourself again to the audience watching for the first time, who you are and what you do. And then let's get right into it.
All right, so I'm Auston Holleman. I'm from Texas, born in Fort Worth, Texas, grew up in Arlington, Texas. As an adult, I was living in Dallas, Texas. Before I moved to Brazil, lived in Brazil 4 months. And I've pretty much been vlogging my entire social experience. So a lot of people go to other countries and they show the restaurants, the malls, that kind of stuff. But for me, it's more so of how are the people going to treat you there? What is it like to date there? Is racism there? How is it with the police there? And then on the other side, I'll show you with the restaurants or what it's like to get an apartment in these places. And I've been doing that for about 14 months now. So a lot of people love it because unlike most vloggers, I vlog every single day and I show pretty much everything.
You vlog every day?
Every day. I mean, at least I try to, but for the most part, I post 7 days a week. And I do all my own editing. I wish I had an editor.
Wow.
I wish I had a cameraman too. That would make the experience a little different.
Yeah.
But I put all my personal opinions out there, as you just said.
Yeah.
And I try to say the most respectful way, but you're gonna offend people either way it goes with your own opinion, because everybody doesn't agree.
You cannot satisfy everybody.
But yes, that comes with, you have to have thick skin to do what I do. So I think I'm perfect for what I do, because no matter what people think, I'm never really offended. I don't lose any sleep. So yeah.
Let's go back a little bit before you start, talking about your experience in these African countries, or been traveling out of the U.S. in general. Where did you grow up? You said Texas?
Texas, yeah. DFW.
Right. Let's get into it. What were you doing in the U.S. work related, or how was your upbringing like? You grew up in a single home, double, you know, with your mom and dad. Can you speak a little bit about, you know, about that?
That's a good question. People never really ask me this.
Oh
So
yeah.
I knew both my parents, but I grew up in a single mother household. My parents were never married, but they were my dad was in my life enough for it to be as if I had a two-parent household. So there's no, oh, he didn't know his father. No, I knew both my grandparents on both sides. So I pretty much had everything I needed there. As an adult, I went to college. I dropped out in 3 semesters because I just wanted to get out of my mama's
Why?
house. Yeah.
Why?
I didn't know why I was in college. So, you know, in the United States,
Yeah.
they pretty much push that on you. And
It's like a formality you need to do.
yeah, and most people in the United States that go to college, there's people with bachelor's and master's degrees that's still delivering pizza. You know, because
In the
it's
States?
not guaranteed like it used to
You
be.
succeed.
So I went there just for 3 semesters, just to, number one, because that's what I was pushed to do. Number 2, I had to get out of my mother's house because I wanted to
You
grow
were getting
up.
kicked out?
I wanted to grow up fast.
Yeah.
And I did grow up fast. So I started cutting hair when I was in college. Well, actually in high school, but I got serious with it in college, so that was my extra money. And then I saw what kind of money I was making in college. I think I was making maybe $400 or $500 a week. So as a college student, that's a lot. And I was like, okay, I know if I drop out of school and I start cutting hair full time as an adult,
You can
in
make
the real
more.
world, I can make more. So I dropped out. I went to barber college. I cut in a barber shop while I was in barber college, and which is illegal. But I did it anyway because I needed that head start. I didn't really care. But I got my own apartment and I moved in. COVID happened. COVID was actually the best thing that happened to my business because I was
Really?
cutting out of my apartment already. So they
Okay.
couldn't say, oh, this is a barber shop, you need to shut it down. So the first, what was it, maybe the 3rd month of COVID, I started making like $10,000, $11,000 a month cutting hair.
Wow.
So yeah, and I did that
Wow.
for 2 years, 2.5 years out of my
So
apartment.
you were making 6 figures cutting hair
Yeah, about $120,000. So yeah,
every year.
a lot of people. Yeah,
Cutting
a lot
hair?
Of, yeah, a lot of people
Wow.
don't believe it, but a lot of people aren't hip to the fact that the internet has changed marketing, and now you can access rich people or people that have the means to spend that money on haircuts a lot easier because everybody's on Instagram, everybody's on Facebook, everybody's on Google. So you can set your price now as a barber for whatever you want, and there's somebody that'll pay for it more than what people would think. So I did that for 2.5 years, and you may know the United States is all just work. So a lot of people, when they say, oh, I want to go to, like when I come to Africa, or even when I was in Asia, in Brazil too, they'll say, oh, why did you leave the United States? I'm like, oh, I'm never going back. And they're like, oh, why did you leave the United States? It's so good that you can make, yeah, that's what, okay, 2 people come to the United States, refugees and people that want a job.
Yes.
The people from Ukraine and the people from Sudan,
Yeah.
they want to go to the United
Yeah.
States. You know, somebody from here that maybe the education isn't as great as it would be back home and the opportunity wouldn't be, they want to go to the United States. Nobody says, I want to go to the United States for a peace of mind. You know, so coming from the United States and then realizing, okay, if I get a remote job, I can work online and then take my money somewhere else in my life. And in Brazil, I experienced my first peace of mind ever. And then I wanted to keep traveling around the world to show people. And even if I don't like the country, like Zambia, I didn't really like it too much.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't really
Why?
like Zambia too much. It was so since I'm from the United States, I need that same similar
Standard.
development. That's why I like Nairobi, because Nairobi is like right here as far as development when it comes to
Really?
maybe Dallas, I would say.
Infrastructure wise.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
not much that's in Dallas that's not in Nairobi.
Wow.
So moving out the United States,
Yeah.
I can have, because there's so many mental illnesses and so much toxicity in the
true.
United States, you'll start to think something is wrong with you because other people will push that on you. And I always knew, man, I've worked on myself. I'm doing pretty good. You know, I dress nice. I take care of myself. I'm respectful, well-mannered, well-spoken. Why is it that I feel like people are always trying to shoot
Judge
me down
you.
and try to make it seem like I'm less than, or I'm not pushing on you like, oh, I know I'm better than you, but I know I deserve more. So I went to Brazil, and I had that peace of mind. It's like, damn, this is the social experience I've always been wanting. So now I'm still traveling around the world to show people, and I'll go back to Brazil one day, probably very soon.
Soon,
But
really?
for the most part, I want to keep traveling around the world.
Did you like it that much in Brazil?
I cried when it was time to go back to Texas because I visited twice before I moved.
Yeah.
So I went for Carnival 2022, and then I went back for my birthday May 2022.
What made you like it that much in Brazil?
Uh, Everything was just very relaxed. I started in Rio, and then I ended up moving to Salvador. I've been to 4 cities there, but I like some cities more than the other, but all of them had that same peace of mind on me. So, number one, the women are beautiful, and they're very sweet to talk to, very easygoing to talk to. It's just a very pleasant experience with them, and I've pretty much found that in just about every single country outside the United States. And I'm not gonna blame it on the women and say it's them, even though it is them that I'm dealing with, but it's the environment too that you grow up in, because they claim the same type of experience with men. And I hear local men say, "Oh, our women are the same here." No, not for the most part. No, there are some
Because you've
places
seen
that
worse.
Americanize. I've almost drove myself crazy back home dealing with that. So,
Dealing
yeah.
with like American women.
Yeah, it.
Let's paint a picture. What is like American women like?
So I'm not saying they're all out of shape or nothing like that, but the data even shows you for the most part they're out of shape. I'm in shape. I go to the gym 4 times a week. I eat healthy. I like somebody that's going to be at least similar to that. She doesn't even have to go to the gym, but that'd be great. But the ones that are in shape, they know that they're in such low demand, it's damn near impossible to deal with them. And it comes with a lot of extra stuff. That's why I don't know if y'all have dating coaches in Ghana.
No.
Okay, so we have there's millionaire dating coaches on YouTube.
Just
and I know
help you to
personally.
get girls.
When to text her back? What do you mean when I text her back?
Wait a minute. Seriously.
When do I text her back? Why is that a thing? But in the United States, literally, if I text, this is the toxicity I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If I get her number and I text her an hour later, nice meeting you, that means I'm thirsty.
Really?
So there's a dating coach I know named Alpha Male Strategies, and he has information that works for the States, but it'd be depressing to listen to. I'm like, damn, I got to do all that. So he says he gets a number, he waits 10 days to call him.
Why?
And somehow he says that they take that as, oh, he must be valuable, he's too busy. I don't want to do all that. I want to live a normal life.
Yeah.
And when I went to Brazil, there was no, if you, I don't know about Ghana, but in all the other countries I've been to, and especially Brazil, if you wait 10 days to call somebody, then you're going to run them off.
Yeah.
They've already moved
on.
on.
It's like you're not interested. Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that, just the female aspect, that's one thing. And I don't hate gays. I had gay friends in the States, but they also have an LGBT agenda that I think has went from let's be equal and have rights to let's push it on you, you need to be gay too.
Really?
And that's, I don't hate gay people. I don't look at them and mug them because they're gay. That's fine. I mean, like I said, I had friends that never came on to me or nothing like that. We were cool. We had an understanding of how we dealt with each other. But when it comes to you trying to tell me that I have I had somebody tell me, oh, you have a little gay in you too. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Wait a
No,
minute.
I do
Really?
not. No, I do. Don't push that on me. I'm Auston
That's
Holleman.
crazy, man. I'm sorry for laughing, man.
I'm just Auston Holleman. I have no issue with gay people,
Oh, wow.
but don't push that on me. Then you combine that with the high cost of living that's getting higher every day. There's people that's making $200,000 a year that's their money is starting to spend like $80,000 a year now. So they're now in just that doing good space. Versus $200,000 in Dallas would be doing really good. It's still good in Dallas, but in other states. Besides the women, LGBT, the food. So when you leave the United States, the food, you notice affects your body different. So
What is the difference?
A lot of my subscribers have said that I've gotten a better glow since I left the States because the food is so processed. I think that plays into a lot of mental health there as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's what made you feel like I'm never going back to the States.
Oh, no. The first time I went to Brazil, I think I had been there maybe an hour or two. And we just went and sat on the beach. I said, yeah, I got to get out the United States. I hadn't even talked to anybody. Just that energy I could feel.
And there are black people in Brazil, right?
It's about 60. Most people don't know. It's about 60% black.
So the whole country is 6% black people?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they had about 4 million slaves they brought from Angola and the other countries the Portuguese brought. So a lot of people think, oh, you want to move to Brazil because you hate black women, which I wouldn't be in Africa if that was the case. I'd be in Europe somewhere, Asia. But Brazil is, especially where I was living at, Salvador Bahia is the blackest city they claim. The blackest city outside of Africa. So outside of all the countries in the world, that city is the blackest city. And that's where I chose to move at.
Now, after Brazil, you went back to Texas, and then what country next?
I went to Carnival for a week, went back to Texas. I didn't talk to anybody. When I came back to Texas, everybody's like, something's off with you. Yeah, I was like, I'm not really talking to y'all no more. Like, I've seen how I can feel. No,
just
men
people?
and women.
Okay.
Friends in general. I mean, close friends, we still kept in contact, but for the most part, it all started to slow down. And it's nothing against them. We still keep in contact. But that experience I had just in general was life-changing. I went back this time in May for my birthday for 2 weeks. 2 weeks to make sure that it wasn't just a tourist thing. And it was better than it was the first time. So then I got on TikTok and YouTube and I started talking about it. And I gained the audience and I was getting so many donations. And I was like, wow, I think I got like $9,800 or something the first month I did YouTube. The first month.
As a paycheck or donations?
Most of it was donations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, most of it was.
How? Is it PayPal, Cash App?
Cash App, Super Chats, yeah.
What?
And
In
PayPal,
Brazil?
Yeah. No, I was in Texas talking about my experience in Brazil.
In Brazil? Wow.
And it was so controversial because I was a lot more blunt. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of times, because I have a debating personality too, so when people clap back at me, I would start saying stuff on purpose to offend them because I knew, okay, that's gonna make them
and
mad.
they always come back in the
get
comment
more
section.
views, and it worked. And so when I seen the money I was making on YouTube, I was like, okay, let me do this for 3 months first. If this works for 3 months, I'm not coming back. So I went to Colombia, and I loved it there too. Not more than Brazil, but I loved it. I came back. And I told Mom, whenever I leave next time, I'm not coming back. So October 16th, I went to Thailand just to try it, which I'm not, I like Bangkok, Thailand, but I'm not too much of a fan of Thailand.
Why?
I went to Thailand October 16th, and I haven't been back since. So I went to
October
Thailand.
16th, what year?
Last year.
Last year, 2022?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
why didn't you go back? What happened in Thailand?
Well, no, before I left, I had the intent of not coming back.
Why? Why?
I just thought it'd be better outside the States, and so far I'm not looking back no time soon.
You mean going back to Thailand, you mean?
No, Texas.
Oh, Texas. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But you said you went to Thailand, you didn't like it? Or did I get it
I
wrong?
liked it. Like if I had to rate it, I'd give it an 8. So
8.
I could live there, but I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't choose to live there. Maybe Vietnam the same way. So I went to Thailand, Brazil, Colombia, Philippines, well, back to Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, back to Thailand. Then I started in Tanzania, and I had another culture shock when I came to Tanzania. Because I had never, so in the United States, this is another thing with black people. Kind of, I haven't been to South Africa yet, but kind of what I hear about South Africa is the racism, right, and how they turn against each other. That's the United States too, as you may know. When you're around a lot of black people, you look at it as threatening. So whenever most black people, if you see a group of black people walk by, you lock your car doors, or you get on guard like, okay, that's a bunch of, you need to watch them. So we're turned against ourselves in the States. So when I came to Tanzania, I was that same way, and I thought it was dangerous. I was, look at all these black people. Even though I had been around black people in the States, I had never been around only black people. So a lot of black people in the States actually like diversity. I even heard Cat Williams saying in his stand-up comedian one time, like, he don't want to be around only black people. He said he like black people, but not just black people. But when you come to Africa, you can see what it's like to be around
all you have
only
is black people.
And you're like, okay, damn, it's not as bad as I thought it was. So I had a life-changing moment, like, wow, it's only black people here, and there's no fights, there's no drama. I mean, of course, that's everywhere, but for the most part, when black people get together in groups outside the States, there's drama, and they want to kill somebody. They want to kill somebody.
Why? Why is that?
That has a lot to do with the racism, and it has a lot to do with just U.S. culture, because it's white people too. Here in Africa and other places in the world, if you honk the horn at somebody, y'all might argue, but nobody pulls out a gun and shoots you. But we have road rage in the United States. You honk the horn at me, I'll shoot you. It happens every day.
Just like that.
It happens every city, every day.
Is it mental illness?
That's why I said. That's why I think there's a lot of mental illness in the United States. Yeah.
Well, now you coming to Africa and not seeing that, you feel like you have a refresh kind of vibe?
It's very refreshing. It's so, especially when I got to Kenya. So after Tanzania, I went to Kenya to Nairobi, and I said it was like the second Brazil for me. Not meaning
In
it
Nairobi?
was, yeah, not meaning it was like Brazil, because Brazil didn't have as many black people as Nairobi, but it was that same feeling I got of being welcome and just fitting right in. That's what it's about for me, is fitting right in. So in Dallas, I didn't feel like I fit right in to my environment. I went to other cities, I felt like it more, but leaving the United States, I always felt like I could fit right in. Perfectly.
Let's speak about your experience on the continent, right? Your first country was Tanzania. Second country was Kenya.
Kenya, Uganda,
Third country, Uganda.
Rwanda,
Rwanda,
Zambia,
Zambia,
and then now here.
and now Ghana. So you've been to 6 countries in Africa, right, so far. Can you tell me the similarities you've encountered going to all these African countries?
What's the similarity between all of
Between
them?
all these countries?
Well, of course, number one, they're all black. They're all black. Number two, they all have Chinese and white people living there. Chinese and white for sure. I'd never seen Russians in Africa until I got to Zambia. So I don't know what they're doing there, but it seems that there's more there. They're a lot more developed than you would think, especially places like Nairobi and especially places like Rwanda and Zambia. What's another thing they all have in common? You can get into an argument with somebody and it doesn't lead to violence. That's something I notice worldwide, but especially in Africa. And I say that because they're black, and back home that's not the same thing. Most people in Africa can speak at least 3 languages. In Rwanda, it was 4 and 5 languages. You know, people would know French, English, what is it, Kiruandis or something like that.
Local language.
Swahili, and they would know another language too. United States, we know 1 language.
English.
Yeah, and the secondary language there is Spanish, and yeah, right. They don't know Spanish like that.
Well, what came out as a culture shock to you visiting those countries? Now, you said Ghana. Now we're coming back to you. You said Ghana, you were very surprised. And you've been speaking with a lot of women. I see you, you know, having a lot of women, different type of people, different culture on your channel, and getting to know them, going on dates and stuff like that. And you point out that Ghanaian men are approaching you more than...
Yeah.
Let's speak on that a little bit.
So back in Dallas, that was a similar thing where it got to a point where I had so many men approaching me in Dallas, and so little women that would be just with a nasty attitude, or it would be hard to deal with them. So I started asking people, do I look gay or something? Like, is the way I dress gay? Do I need to change something? You know, and they would all say, oh no, well, why is it like that? So everywhere I've been to in the world, that hasn't been the case. In Brazil, in Salvador, there's a lot of gay, that's a huge gay tourism spot. They have a gay beach, everything like that. Even there, I didn't get that. I mean, here and there you would, but for the most part, no. When I came here, I noticed the same thing. Not that the women are rude, they're not rude, but for the most part, they're kind of very not standoffish, but they're very reserved in a way where it comes off like they're uninterested. That's why I said on my channel,
it's like they're pretending that they're not interested, you say.
Yeah, and that's a U.S. trait. And I had my tour guide, he's from here, and he told me that they're very into American culture. So when I heard that, I started looking around like, damn, that's what they do in the States too. I seen dudes sagging their pants. That came from the States. I seen dudes wearing their hat to the side. I was like, that came to the States. In Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, they listen to Black American music, but it's the music from 20 years ago. You know, it's when Pretty Ricky was big and all that kind of stuff. Now, I came here and I can hear Cardi B. I didn't hear Cardi B. I'm not saying that people don't listen to it there, but when you go to a club or a bar, they're not playing R. Kelly like they are in Kenya. They're playing the new stuff. I'm like, okay, so it really is basically like, I think they call this Atlanta 2.0 here. They call it
in Ghana? Accra?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's very true. Now, of course, it's not as bad as the States with some of the things that I wouldn't like, but there are some similarities that I did notice.
Interesting. So that makes me think Ghana might not be your favorite. One of the favorite countries.
It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. And so this is why I say I get criticized a lot, because I say my opinions out loud.
Yeah.
Don't hate it. I would stay here before I stayed in Dallas, though. 100%. It's still more peaceful than being in Dallas. I still have a peace of mind here as opposed to being in Dallas.
Now, how do you deal with it? Because I was going through your comment section, and I see someone call you as a passport bro or whatever that. How do you feel when someone says to you like you're a passport bro and all those things like that?
So I actually used to associate with that. I have a tattoo right here. I'm the only one that's gotten this tattoo that I know of.
What does it say?
It says passport bros here. I'm gonna tell you why.
Can I see it?
Yeah.
Can I come and get it?
So originally, I just wanted, because my tattoos all mean something, right? I got Texas because I'm from Texas. This is supposed to be a flag of Brazil. This is enlightenment. This is my horoscope. This is assertive in Portuguese. This is another Texas thing.
Wow. Wow. And you literally have passport bro.
Yeah, there's a map of the world here because I travel. I wanted to get a passport tattoo. But this right here wasn't enough. So then I got my Facebook group that, because these all mean something to me. People say you might regret it. I'm not going to regret this. That means something. I was going to put passport here. And somebody's like, hey, why don't you put the whole thing? So, I was like, oh yeah, put it there.
Wow, so you're a certified passport bro, and you're not ashamed of it or anything like that?
No. Now, in the future, would I remove this?
Yeah.
Not this, but this. Only because of the fact that there's no leader in that group. They used to call me the leader because I had the loudest voice at one point. And I believe I still do. But it's not a fraternity. There's no rules. There's no membership. It's just a label.
So it's not sustainable, you'd say.
So when I go somewhere, let's say if I go to like Somalia or somewhere like that, they'd kill me. They told me that if I go to Somalia, they'll kill me. They told me that.
Really?
Because I'm associated with this. I've had a good number.
You get death threats and stuff like that?
Oh, I've gotten many death threats.
Just
I've gotten death threats in Brazil, by the hundreds. I've gotten about the hundreds and then from Somalians.
Wow, it's crazy. But let me ask this. You know, I think I saw another people attacking you that you don't mind dating out of your race, right? And then why do you feel free to do whatever you want to do? Like, just so to ask that question.
From the United States. So we do whatever we want. We say whatever we want. We do whatever we want. That's why a lot of Americans go overseas and get locked up. Because they don't know how to act and they don't realize freedom of speech and all that kind of stuff. So, for example, I know Muslim cultures, they're not supposed to date outside of that culture. In the United States, that's not a thing. You date who you want. But I like whoever likes me. And I'm doing a lot of this for my subscribers. So if it was up to me, I probably wouldn't leave Brazil or leave Africa permanently. But they want to see me travel around the world, and that's how I make my money. So after Africa, I'm going to have to go to Europe, and then I'm going to have to go back to Latin America. Then I'm done. Then they're going to want to see me settle somewhere. Up to me, I'm choosing to settle. So far, this state of mind I'm at now, after 13 countries, I'm still going to settle in Africa.
Which country in Africa?
More than likely Kenya.
Kenya.
More than likely.
Why Kenya?
That's just.
You said infrastructure already, but I think it must be something else.
The way how the women treat me, the food is good.
Oh, okay.
The Nairobi, for the most part, the weather is good. I don't like cold weather, but it's not too cold there.
Yeah. Let's get into the women. Describe the women in Kenya.
It's like they drink 2 cans of Red Bulls.
Hyped up.
They're
energy.
hyped up. So when you go on a date with them, there's no dead silence. There's no dead silence.
They can talk, just like an American girl can.
Yeah, so as you see, I can sit here and elaborate for hours. So I don't match with somebody that's gonna be sitting there all quiet and shy.
And then doing like, you don't like that.
I need you to talk. The same way I would have to talk.
Right.
If you go on a date with a woman, try to be silent and see what happens. Try to not have any good conversation. See what happens. But I put the same pressure on them. Okay, I need to be entertained too. So in Brazil, even though there was a language, I speak Portuguese, but even though they don't speak the same language, me and other people have always found that there's always substance. And it's the same thing in Kenya. They don't go to the gym in Kenya, but they're fit like most African women.
They have six-packs and stuff like that.
They don't have that.
Oh, but they're fit. What do you mean
naturally,
by fit?
African women are like, they're built in a way where they don't get fat and out of shape.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
So I enjoy that. So they don't have to go to the gym. That's great if they do. They don't have to. But
their genetics is just.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
the hygiene is great.
Hygiene in what way?
I'm talking about like vaginal hygiene.
Ooh.
That's a big deal.
Compared to the States?
Yeah, yeah. We can get into that, but
guys, if you're less than 18 years old, this is where you turn it off. Elaborate. What do you mean by that?
in the United States, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it's because I don't care why." I'm a guy that doesn't care about the why. Just fix the problem. I don't care why your pH is off. That's not my issue.
Yeah.
Because if I was oozing green stuff, you wouldn't care about the why either. You'd be like, that just needs to be gone.
You're so honest.
Yeah, very honest. A lot of people love that. But I can tell you this, that was a huge problem in the States. The older you went, 30, 40 years old, that wasn't so much of an issue. My age bracket, it's a real issue. And I don't know why. There's some women.
Food?
I don't know. Because there's some women in my age bracket, they eat the same food as the other women, don't stink. There's some, it's terrible.
It's like they don't know how to take care of themselves.
A lot of them don't know how to take care of themselves. So, that being said, out of all the countries I've been to, I haven't ran into the issue since. That's a U.S. problem.
Wow.
Didn't run into it in Brazil, Colombia.
So even though you have 24 hours flowing water, electricity, all those good amenities, someone still.
Yeah, I don't know why,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of things in the United States that we don't have that. Like, I've never seen a sprayer next to the toilet until I left the country. And I can get into this is like a conspiracy of mine, but the United States wants you to spend a lot of money. So that means you got to buy more toilet paper. Since you can't spray it and use 1 or 2 times to dry off, now you're going to wipe until you got a hemorrhoid.
What is hemorrhoid?
That's when you wipe so much that it starts bleeding.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Because if you really don't want to stink, which I would assume most people don't, you can keep wiping, and then before you know, you got blood, and you're like, wow. So now you got to go to the doctor. Now you got to pay the doctor. Now you gotta go buy ointment or whatever he's gonna give you for that.
So it's just all selling things.
It's all yeah. But
Wow.
You go to Brazil, what I seen was you spray out and you just dry yourself off and you're good. There's no extra.
So that means you use water to just wash everything.
But the hygiene is better there. So even the women in Brazil, and here, and everywhere else I've been to, you get home, they'll spray themselves out. But in the States we don't have that. So that may be a reason why. Like I said, I don't care why.
Wow.
I just know it needs to be fixed.
Now, coming back to Kenya, you see yourself settling in Kenya. What would be the other second country you might likely settle down in, if not Kenya?
Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
Tanzania.
Yeah.
Okay, and is it because similar,
similar? So, in my ranking of African countries, it'd be Kenya, Tanzania. So far from where I've been.
I like that. I mean, I wanted to see if you have something positive to say about Ghana, but what do you say has been something that has impressed you or whatever so far since you've been here in Ghana? Because you are in Ghana. You've spent almost 6 days now in Ghana. And what would be something that you actually appreciate since you landed here?
So at first I didn't like it's not that I didn't like the food. I wasn't impressed, but I went a few more places and I am impressed with the food, just like the rest of Africa. There's more development than you would think coming from because we think that I didn't think this, but we think that y'all are in huts or y'all don't have running water or AC. So there is that development there as well. I like that everybody speaks English because that makes it easier to get around. I like that y'all have Uber and that they know how, or Uber, let me say Yango, and they know how to use it. I've been to Rwanda. They don't even know how to get around their own country.
Really? What do you mean?
You call them, they speak English, but they don't understand nothing. You get in the car, you tell them where to go. They don't know where to go. The map is showing them where to go. They don't know how to, and we can't say it's a language barrier because the map is in their language. You mean to tell me if this map tells you go this way, it's in text saying go this way, there's a blue line showing you go this way, and you asking me where to go.
Wow.
And I say, I don't know. I just got here yesterday. I don't know Rwanda. Why are you asking me?
Wow, but you feel it's better here in Ghana?
I haven't had to do that here.
Okay.
I mean, they might ask where we're going, but I don't have to direct them every second of the trip. That's one reason I wouldn't live in Rwanda. There's a few reasons, but that's one reason I wouldn't live in Rwanda.
I like that. Now, Ghana, let's describe a Ghanaian girl once again, right? Have you been on a date with a Ghanaian yet?
Yes.
Yes? How did it go? I mean, that's what you do. So it's already on his YouTube channel, so go check it out.
Yeah.
Austin, I'll write everything on the screen so I don't, you don't mess the spellings. Go ahead.
Uh, so I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm.
It was very US-like. Wasn't as bad. It wasn't like, man, I can't come back here. But it was just like, that's something that they picked up
From the U.S.
from the US.
Are they being influenced by the American culture, you would say?
Absolutely. If you coming from the United States,
Percentage-wise.
huh?
Percentage-wise. How many percent do you think they are being influenced by?
So, for example, I would say Kenya is 30% influenced by the United States. Ghana, I say 80.
80.
80.
Wow.
It's very from the hair they wear, from the way how they do their nails. Not all of them, but from the way how they do their nails, the way how they talk. Sounds like back home.
Wow. Let's just dive into a little bit. I want to really describe it so they can get a picture of what you mean by, close to America.
Some people may be into this, but women with crazy colored hair. I've seen that here. It's very common back home. I've seen it here though. I haven't seen it in mass numbers, but it's here. The long fingernails, some people are into that. I mean, anything longer than that doesn't really, shorter than this doesn't really bother me. But this, I haven't seen any like this long. But the eyelashes, I don't really have a problem with eyelashes, but I just noticed it. I actually like girls that wear eyelashes. It's cute to me. But I noticed that. That's something they do in the States. And that's because of globalization. But I think it has a lot to do with a lot of Americans feeling like this is where we came from, which it is. So they come here. And naturally, we don't leave. People usually don't leave stuff back in their home country. They bring it with them. And then people look up to the United States worldwide.
Do you think it's a good thing?
No.
Why?
What's happening in the United States? There's so many people leaving the United States to the point where they're charging you to renounce your citizenship when it used to be free. So I believe it's like $5,000 to say you don't want to be a U.S. citizen.
Really?
Yeah, because there's enough people leaving now.
Wow. Wow. So the corporation is losing money now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The quality of life is going down dramatically. Marriage rates worldwide are going down, but there they are for sure. They might be the leader, I think. I don't know. Birth rates are going down. The happiness is going down. It's not as good as y'all think.
You making like $120K, $120,000 every year in the States cutting hair, and you leaving that behind to doing what you do now. Don't you feel like you're missing something out, or what do you know that I don't know?
No, because a peace of mind is more important than how much money you make.
That's why. I respect that. I respect that. People are watching you. I know your fans will swoop in over here, and there are also new audiences that are watching you. If you do have a message to them, what would that message be?
To continue watching the videos, number one. But number two, my experiences are my experience. If you're happy in the United States, stay there. Stay there until China takes over everything. Stay there until, because that's coming. So
Really?
we're going to be number two instead of number one as far as superpowers.
You believe that?
Yeah.
In what year span do you think this will happen?
Within 10 years.
Within 10 years?
Whoever controls Africa controls the world.
And you think China controls
That's
Africa?
why France is doing what they're doing right now. Because they can't lose Africa. They lose a lot of power. You lose access to the gold, the uranium, the oil. You lose a lot of power.
That's why everybody's scrambling for Africa.
That's why they originally colonized it. Originally.
Originally? What do you mean?
I mean, like, that's what they did there 400 years ago.
Okay.
Well, they got slaves 400 years ago. But in the 1900s, late 1800s, they colonized Africa to get diamonds and all the other metals and stuff and precious, raw materials that's in Africa. The coffee, the tea, all that kind of stuff.
Now, how do you afford to travel around like the world like that?
YouTube.
YouTube. Is it revenue or just like, because I know YouTube a lot.
AdSense.
And I don't know that, I see your viewers, it's amazing. So is it like AdSense or like there's extra money coming from somewhere, sponsors or stuff like that?
It's AdSense, and that's another reason why I include women in my videos. They bring money.
How?
American men are so desperate for women, they'll send you money to see you happy. When I'm not saying that makes them desperate. I'm not saying like, oh, like, I'm just saying we value women.
They live their life through
it's-
you.
They live their life through me. But there's some dudes that, for example, they tell, I get a new woman on the video. She's been on the video one day. Yeah, I need to marry her. Why would I marry her? I just met her. But that's why foreign women know they can get us for visas. And they can use us because they know we're desperate. It's so hard to deal with the women back home. Dudes will jump on anything when they come to Kenya.
I see. We have a saying in our local language that says, "Ohoho ena every akokwa ne niabo." That means a foreigner is the one who eats the chicken with a blind eye.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think that has been the case most of the
Because
time?
I've vetted, I still know I have to vet women. And that's why I do my videos. And that's why I show the good and bad sides. Like I had a woman from an African country recently. I'm not going to say her name because she's a clout chaser. And that was her whole motive.
Just to come to you.
Just to try to boost her publicity. But I didn't get too invested in her emotionally or financially. But everybody's not me. So and she ended up flipping, and now she's a completely different person. She's actually made herself look really bad. My subscribers see that now, that hey, just because they're from Africa or Asia does not mean they're better than anything back home. Maybe a better experience, but it could still be a front. So that's why I say we're desperate. I'm not saying that to offend anybody. That's just the definition of what I'm trying to say. We are desperate for the most part. So we fall for stuff, or we call them simps. Simps fall for anything. They don't stand for nothing.
Are you trying to say most Americans are simps?
For the most part, yeah,
For the most part. Okay.
Most of them.
Even when they are overseas.
It gets worse when they go overseas.
Really?
Because they hear somebody like me that's saying, oh, these women in Brazil are better like this, they're better like that, they're better like that. And so they take it as a unicorn. Or she can do nothing wrong. I didn't say that. I just said the experience was better. I just said she'll treat you better. I say she wouldn't call you the N-word. She won't get in your face. That does happen, but not as frequent as it does back home.
Wow. Man, your content is amazing. I was watching it. I was enjoying it. Guys, go and check him out on YouTube. The name is right there. Help me with the second name again.
Auston Holleman.
Holleman. Auston Holleman is a great YouTube channel. He actually has more subscribers than I do. He has more than 70,000 subscribers. Great family. Go join the membership. Subscribe. Stay tuned. Get to follow his life around a little bit because he's doing so much that you might be interested in. Going to Kenya, dating a Kenyan girl. Putting it out there, what to do, what not to do on a date with these girls, and how to see the red flags and stuff like that. So if it's something that you interests you, go and check him out. And yeah, he's here in Ghana, experiencing Ghana, everything, the chocolates and everything. And if you want to link him up, hopefully we post this video before he leaves Ghana. You can also link up with him and network. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. Where we are currently filming is called Biru. Biru is a co-working space located in Osu next to Jamestown Cafe. You're moving from the US, you want somewhere to work with high-speed internet, constant electricity without doom saw. Please make sure you check the Bureau out. Link in the description and also on the screen. And make sure you tell them that you came from Webnation. Just don't go there and be like, okay, I'm coming by myself. Let them know that you came from us, so they can get your discount in and stuff like that. And subscribe. YouTube said 83% of you guys have not subscribed. You like the video, why not subscribe? Yeah, subscribe, turn on your post notification. And we're almost at the end of the conversation. If you do have something last to say, what would that be?
To touch on desperate again.
Desperate?
Like I said, that's not to offend anybody. Y'all know the words I pick can be harsh.
Not to cut you. Isn't the desperateness helping you because they pay money to you to live the life through there?
Yeah, I have benefited from it. But even if people are offended, I still say what I want to say to them. And say that's, I'm not saying they're desperate for giving me money. I'm just saying that in a way as in if I were that woman, they would have, like, I've gotten $4,000 in one day in donations.
What?
Yeah.
Cash App?
Because of the woman I was with, yeah.
Cash App?
Yeah, in Cash App.
Guys, if you're watching this and you have a way to get me a Cash App, please do so. I need a Cash App, you know that.
You do.
I need that.
You
I
do.
don't. I had so many people reach out to me by email that they want to donate money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have PayPal. I don't have Cash App. I don't have anything, so people don't get through to me.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get a Cash App?
You probably need a VPN, I
A
think. Yeah,
VPN
VPN.
to get that?
Put it in the United
I'll look
States.
into it.
But they donate to me because they even write notes like, keep living your life, be happy. I appreciate those. But I guess I may have said it wrong. What I'm saying is they'll take that same behavior and go do it with a brand new woman in Nairobi and a brand new woman in Dar es Salaam. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've heard some chicks that I know that only mess with Americans because they know it's nothing for them to send them $100. It is nothing for us. But when you train somebody with that, then that's all you have to offer.
So give them some game because you from what I've seen so far, you got games, right? I know it's now difficult because of the world that we live in with Tinder and all those things. It's now very difficult for men to like really go on dates with ladies without freaking out or even getting paranoid and stuff like that. Give some men out there, even Americans who are trying to move to Africa, give them some game and what to look out for and stuff like that.
Number one, you need to date more women.
Yeah.
That way, when you run into, because I used to be like that. Dallas will make you like that. Where when you run into a beautiful one, you overdo it, and then you try to overcompensate by paying, or you want to take it to do the same thing some Ghanaian man would do, which I heard that they spend a lot too. So maybe that might not be the best example. In Tanzania, they're not doing the same thing like that. If in Tanzania, if the average Tanzanian is taking a Tanzanian woman on a date that's gonna cost $10, do the same thing. There's no need to overcompensate and try to take her. First of all, you gotta be doing something big to spend $100 on a date in Tanzania. Do as the locals would do there.
Take them to the local bar, eat local food, do whatever the locals do.
Yeah, I mean, you could take them to a nice restaurant, but don't overcompensate because you can. Do the same. There's no need to, hey, I had a good
Because they are increasing her standard and her mouth will keep becoming watery for what big things. Yeah?
Don't do them like, oh, you know what, in America, we wouldn't have had this good of a conversation. I'm going to give you $150. I'm going to pay your rent just because. Because in the States, dudes pay women. My mother is a single mother. She's still single. She, for years, has been able to live off of dudes tricking that haven't slept with her, kissed her, nothing. Pay the rent, everything.
Roll back a little bit. Men pays her rent all the time.
They'll pay the rent in a heartbeat. They'll $1,800, $2,000. There's plenty of women in the States that live off of that.
Wow.
In some countries, like even in Kenya, there's women that are catching on to that, and they think when I run to American, I can ask them for this money. That's not a genuine relationship. So when Austin comes along and I'm just trying to get to know you, they know they can't get me with that anyway. But when I'm just trying to get to know you, they want to throw that stigma on me, like, oh, like you can pay for this, it's cheap for you. That means I'm not gonna do it, because then that's all I have to offer.
Wow. That's some game though. That's some game right there. Wow.
And quit telling them they beautiful every 5 minutes.
What do you mean?
Quit telling women they beautiful every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
they hate
they should reduce that, isn't it?
They hate that.
Yeah.
They don't.
Sometimes just tell them their lashes is off and stuff like that. Would you reckon?
Well, I never tell them, like, I never lie to them and be like, oh, that you don't look as good as you do. But I just keep it moderate, because the more you say it, the more it seems like something's wrong with you. The more it's simping, the more desperate you come up, like, why, am I out of this guy's league? That's what she starts thinking. So now she knows she has you by a leash, and now she can get that $100 out of you.
I like that.
And then she'll probably be cheating on you. She'll have another American sending them money. I've seen it. What's the
craziest story you've ever seen?
I'm trying to think of what's the crazy. I've heard dudes jumping off of buildings in Thailand because they go hire a escort for their girlfriend for whatever reason, and then she's cheating on him, and whenever he runs out of his retirement or his 401 wherever it is, now he wants to kill himself. And she's just with a different guy that hasn't run out of his retirement yet. That's why you shouldn't leave with money.
Wow.
Because why would you even let somebody put you in that state of mind where you want to kill yourself? Plus, you had to become numb dealing with women. Women are ruthless. They have so many options, they don't care about you.
Really? All women?
Not all.
How many
So
percent?
it gets better when you leave the United States. In the United States, they'll be ruthless with you. But
I know minority of some American women can put you in a mental hospital.
Yeah.
Have you seen some compared on the African continent that could do the same? Apart from Thailand, I mean, I don't know about, you know.
I haven't seen it get that bad in Africa, but I do know of women in Kenya that are sleeping around with a lot of dudes, and some of those dudes are in love with them.
And they don't know.
They don't know. And she's getting money from all of them.
Wow.
And it's not just Kenya, it happens everywhere. That's why I said you have to, fuck.
That's a B?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I said that's why you have to vet. Kenya, now it hasn't happened to me. That's my best experience. But I'm telling people that even the places that I love, that I have the best experience, I'm not saying it can't happen to you there either.
I like that. I'm going to put him on a blind date with a Ghanaian girl. If it's something you're interested, just comment down below and we'll do it. Will you be down for something like
Absolutely.
that? Yeah?
Absolutely. I'll be unfiltered.
Yeah? Unfiltered? No,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah? All right, guys. So make sure you subscribe so you can get to see that episode. It will probably come right after this one. And thank you so much for coming on the show when I reached out to you.
Thank you.
And I must say your fans really love you, man. They're following you. They're telling me where you're going and everything. So, I'm glad they told me to have you on the show. I appreciate it for you coming.
I appreciate
All
you
right.
having me.
And thank you one more time. So let's say bye-bye to the people watching, all right? Peace out.
All right, I'm Auston Holleman. I'm from Dallas, Texas. Well, I'm not from Dallas, Texas. I'm from Texas. Let's say that. I've lived many places in Texas. But I'm a traveling YouTuber. I'm traveling around the world. Currently, the favorite continent so far, which is Africa. And I'll be here. I only plan to stay 6 months, but I'll be here for it looks like a year and a half in total. So if you would love to see my journey, you love to learn about what it's actually like to be in these countries, make sure you subscribe, Auston Holleman. And make sure you join the membership to hear exclusive things that I wouldn't put out to the public.